We acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 2 land known as First Nations territory, as well as the homeland of the Métis Nation. And this evening we have Councillor Eilers on the telephone. Hello, Patty. Hello, Councillor Eilers?
Yes.
Okay. So, and this evening we do not have our city manager. She's away for a bit, and also Mayor Dauphin is out of town today. So our first motion, moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Stakilo, be it resolved that the council accepts the regular agenda as presented. All in favor? Carried.
Yes.
Thank you. Be it resolved that the reading be waived and that council accepts and approves the circulated the minutes of the following meeting. Sorry, that was moved by Councillor Loughlin and seconded by Councillor Stakilo. All in favor?
There's a correction there.
Okay, go ahead.
I was absent last council meeting and that is noted in there. However, my phantom self approved your second E2 resolutions in there. So that'll have to be corrected.
And you're also shown as being present,
No, I'm showing as absent.
but you have moved two motions.
Seconded the motion.
Okay. Lisa heard that and that will be corrected. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Juba and seconded by Councillor Loughlin. Whereas the Municipal Act, Section 160 states each member of council must attend the public hearing unless the member is excused by the other members for attending the hearing, is unable to attend owing to illness, or is required under the Municipal Council Conflict of Interest Act to withdraw from the hearing. Be it resolved that the council excludes the following members from the February 11th public hearing scheduled. Al Dohan. Okay. All those in favor? Carried. And moved by Councillor Reel and seconded by Councillor Juba, be it resolved that the council now adjourns to hear the public hearing as scheduled. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, the Planning Act public hearing. Okay, council will now commence to hear representations from the applicants and any other persons who wish to make representations for these scheduled public hearings. Anyone who is not yet registered but wishes to make a presentation to the public hearings, please register with the executive assistant. We will now proceed with the public hearing for conditional use application number 12.02.072800/CU 1901/01 for owner applicant 8500553 Manitoba Limited, care of Mike Palladie for lots 1, 2, and 3, block 32, plan 243 DLTO, also known as the 101 First Avenue Northeast, to allow warehouse use and propose construction of a 1,872 square foot cold storage addition to an existing business in a commercial central zone. There is no applicants here for that, so we have no one to speak in favor. Does council have any questions for clarification, I guess, of the applicant? We don't have an applicant, so, okay. Is there any other person present in support of this application who wishes to speak? Is there any person present who wishes to speak in objection to this application? Does council have any questions for clarification purposes?
You're fading out.
Okay. I'm reading all the lines here, making sure I'm not missing anything, Councillor Eilers.
No, I'm fine with it.
Okay. Anyone else who wishes to make a presentation on this application? Okay. So the representations for this public hearing are now completed. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Loughlin. Be it resolved that the public hearing for conditional use application number 12.02.072800/CU 1101/01 for owner applicant 5800553 Manitoba Limited, care of Mike Palladie for lots 1, 2, and 3, block 32, plan 243 DLTO, known as 102 First Avenue Northeast, to allow warehouse use and proposed construction of a 1,872 square foot cold storage addition to an existing business in a commercial central zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning law be now concluded. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, we will now proceed with the public hearing for conditional use application number 12.03.128200/CU 1901/02 for owner applicant 3728936 Manitoba Limited, care of Jim Payne for lot 18, block 37, plan 340 DLTO, known as 109 7th Avenue Northeast, to allow the construction of an 1,890 square foot single-story, two-family dwelling in a residential single-family zone. There's no applicant here to speak. Is there any other person present to speak in support of the application who wishes to speak? Okay, is there any person present who wishes to speak in objection to this application? Okay. Mrs. Sitnik? Yes. Did you want to speak from there, or did you?
Oh, it's fine.
Okay.
We're zoned a single family, and this is going to be a double family,
Yes.
and that lot's big enough.
Yes. There are two doubles on that block already, and when I checked with Mr. Durkach this morning, he said that all three lots are the same size.
But these ones are duplexes, they're like two-story, one, this is a one-story.
Correct.
So what are they gonna build them, like a duplex?
It's one level, and it's,
And there's
yeah,
enough-
one unit in the front, one unit behind.
Oh, like that? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so there'll be one in the front, one in the back, and the parking in the back.
Okay, it's not this, like not the width of the lot, it's the
Correct.
length of the lot.
Correct, yes. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. And we also, just so we have it in the record, we received a letter today from a person who is expressing their concern about the build, and they said in the letter, without prejudice, I don't have a problem with a new build. This person's concerns have to do, because there had been a fire in that area, and this person found that very difficult to have a fire so close to their own home, and that had caused a great deal of stress for that person. So dealing with that, and I guess that kind of comes near and dear to our hearts, because we just had that big fire this weekend as well, or last week. So we know that that can be a really tough thing, but the person said they don't have a problem with the build. Okay, does council have any questions for clarification purposes? Is there anyone else who wishes to make a presentation on this application? Okay, so the representations for this public hearing are now completed. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Laughlin, be it resolved that the public hearing for conditional use application number 12.03 128-200/CU 1901/02 for owner applicant 3728-93-6 Manitoba Limited, care of Jim Payne, for lot 18, block 37, plan 340 DLTO, known as 109 7th Avenue Northeast, to allow the construction of an 1,890 square foot single-story, two-family dwelling in a residential single-family zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw now be concluded. All those in favor? Okay, carried. We will now proceed with the variance application number 1203 128-300 VO 1902/01 for owner applicant 3728-93-6 Manitoba Limited, care of Jim Payne, for lot 18, block 37, plan 340 DLTO, which means Dauphin Land Titles Office, I now know that, known as 109 7th Avenue Northeast, to vary the minimum requirements for side width to allow the construction of a 1,890 square foot single-story, two-family dwelling in a residential single-family zone. There's no applicant to speak. Is there any person present in support of this application who wishes to speak? Is there any person present who wishes to speak in objection to this application? Does council have any questions for the presenter for clarification purposes? Is there anyone else who wishes to make a presentation on this application? The representations for this public hearing are now complete. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Loughlin. Be it resolved that the public hearing for variance application number 12.03, 128 300 VO 190101 for owner applicant 3728-93-6 Manitoba Limited, care of Jim Payne, for lot 18, block 37, plan 340 DLTO 109 7th Avenue Northeast, to vary the minimum requirement for side width to allow the construction of an 1,890 square foot single family dwelling in a single family zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw be now concluded. All those in favor? Councillor Eilers?
Yes.
Okay, you're in favor? Okay, carried. Moved by Councillor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Reel. Be it resolved that the council now can reconvenes to the regular council meeting. All those in favor? Okay, thank you for coming. And if you have any more questions, feel free to contact city staff. Okay, thank you. Moved by Councillor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Juba. Whereas due notice was given with respect conditional use application number 1202.072-800/CU1901/01, and whereas no objections were received to the application, be it resolved that conditional use application number 12.02.072-800/CU1901/01 for owner applicant 58-00553 Manitoba Limited, care of Michael Addy, for lots 1, 2, and 3, block 32, plan 243 DLTO, known as 102 First Avenue Northeast, to allow warehouse use and propose construction of 1,872 square feet of cold storage, additional to the existing business in a commercial central zone, to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw, be approved with the following conditions. The owner obtains a building permit for the construction of the proposed warehouse building. The owner complies with the Manitoba Building Code, including the provision of a complete set of construction drawings prepared and stamped by a professional engineer licensed to practice in Manitoba, with a code analysis summary indicating building code and limiting distance, fire resistance, and construction ratings. The owner provides an up-to-date legal survey site plan indicating the location of the property boundaries with dimensions of the property lines and adjacent buildings to allow evaluation of the building code and ensure accurate proposed building layout. Number 4, to comply with the floodproofing criteria of the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw number 04/2015. The floor elevation shall not be more than 1 meter below the design flood level of 293.5 meters. Number 5, lot surface drainage cannot adversely affect adjacent properties. Therefore, it is recommended that the building be designed and constructed in consultation and cooperation with adjacent property owners. Any questions? All those in favor? Carried. Councillor Eilers, you're okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We don't have one here. Okay. No, need want to sign those ones for the next one?
Yeah.
Mr. Kyle, we have 2 pages stuck together here.
If it's a conditional use, with like my name not on it.
Okay. Councillor Juba? Okay. Yeah, we can't put Councillor Stakilo on there because of his other job that he has. So moved by Councillor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Juba, whereas due notice was given with respect the conditional use application number 12.03/128-200/CU1901/02, and whereas no objections were received to the application. I mentioned the letter that was not an objection to the build itself, that there were other issues happening there, but not to the build. Be it resolved that the conditional use application for 1203/128200/CU1901/02 for owner applicant 3728-936 Manitoba Limited, care of Jim Payne, for Lot 18, Block 37, Plan 340, DLTO, known as 109 7th Avenue Northeast, to allow the construction of a 1,890 square foot single-story two-family dwelling in a residential single-family zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw, be approved with the following conditions. 1, the owner obtains a variance allowing a reduced side width. All those in favor? Councillor Eilers? You okay with that one, Mrs. Councillor Eilers?
Sorry, I had it on mute. Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. And moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Loughlin, whereas due notice was given with respect to variance application number 1203-128-200/VO 1901/01, and whereas no objections were received to the application, and whereas council approved a single-use order to allow the construction of a two-family dwelling in a residential single-family zone with the condition of obtaining a variance order on the site width, be it resolved that variance application number 1203-128200/VO 1902/01 for owner applicant 3728-936 Manitoba Limited, care of Jim Payne, for Lot 18, Block 37, Plan 34, Dauphin Land Titles Office, known as 109 7th Avenue Northeast, to vary the side width from 19.8 meters to 15.2 meters to allow for the construction of an 1,890 square foot single-family two-story dwelling in a single-family residential zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw, be approved with the following conditions. 1, a minimum of 3 off-street parking stalls will be required to be developed on site. 2, the owner applicant must obtain a building permit from the City of Dauphin for the construction of the dwelling. All construction shall comply with the Manitoba Building Code. Number 3, the owner applicant submits a complete set of construction drawings as prepared and stamped by a professional engineer licensed to practice in Manitoba, including limiting distance and spatial separation building code requirements. 4, primary access using a lane is permitted. However, the city will only provide lane maintenance and snow clearing as per the city's policy for back lanes. 5, a new service branch connection from the street lines to the building be installed at the owner's expense. 6, the owner applicant is responsible to ensure the building layout and grading is in accordance with the City of Dauphin's policy and approved site plan. 7, lot surface drainage cannot adversely affect any adjacent properties. It's recommended that it be done in consultation and cooperation with adjacent property owners. All those in favor? Carried. You're okay?
Yes.
Thank you. And moved by Councillor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Juba, be it resolved that council accepts as information the presentation by Staff Sergeant Nolan Suss from the Dauphin RCMP. Your turn to talk now.
Okay. So I'm here to present my a synopsis of the third quarter reporting for the RCMP. You already have, all the council should have had my 10-page report, and I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, honestly. So to reiterate the City of Dauphin's policing priorities were the reduction of property crime and increase in policing visibility and the management of chronic offenders. The way we've got after that is through reactive and proactive enforcement. And reactive is the investigating of calls for service, the investigation of crimes. We get evidence to lay a charge, we lay the charge, or go through a diversionary process through which includes the John Howard Society, the Dauphin Community Justice Committee, Métis Justice, or Southern Chiefs Justice. So that's something that justice is pushing more towards, is the restorative justice, and we're trying to get on board with that. On the proactive side, we continue with checking our chronic offenders for compliance with court conditions. We've had pretty good success with that, and currently our chronic offender list is fairly short. From over the years past, we've had more what we call high flags. Another one is traffic enforcement. Those numbers are down simply because our members don't have enough time to do proactive traffic enforcement. Usually the time to do that during the regular hours of the day and the evening, and they're busy with following up with investigations. impaired driving stats are up because usually we get those around when bars closed and no traffic control. Two other projects we've undertaken is one using undercover operatives early this summer, and for the most part through Dauphin and the surrounding area, but also in Dauphin, to purchase drugs and gain intelligence into the drug scene in Dauphin. We've had some success, and we use the information from that to our other project was the district project team. And the district project team utilizes one member from Winnipegosis, St. Rose, and Parkland detachments. We pooled our resources, and they were taken away from responding to calls for service and investigating files and just working solely on proactive projects. And we've had a fair bit of success with that, and changing our strategy. And some of those things were search warrants. One involved in our emergency response team by the hospital was because of which they're in town. But through their activities, we've laid some charges regarding drug trafficking, drug possession, as well as possession of sawed-off weapons, like assault rifles and shotguns, and interrupted the formation of a gang in Dauphin. So staffing levels and shortages in regards to training and staffing levels does affect a lot of the time we can do on project activities. The crime stats for the last 10 years show a general decrease in reported crime. However, year to year, our numbers are fairly consistent, but there is a general downward trend. Breaking entries was down slightly from last year. We're at 62 versus 72 last year. Theft under 5,000 is up slightly from 202 to 227. Misreported property is down quite a bit from 313 to 247. Our budget this year, we're slated to be on budget. However, our overtime cost is up due to our the projects, as well as the one manslaughter murder investigation, which is going to be expensive. But we're on track to be on our budget this year. As far as police visibility, we're using that mainly with regards to involvement in other agencies such as Child Abuse Committee, Housing First Committee, Dauphin At-Risk Teens, and the Care Committee. I've been involved in ad hoc committees with Community Health as well as Eco Housing, and those things, and we've developed a lot of relationships among the different agencies, and those have worked to help some people who otherwise have been homeless. And one individual actually broke into a place hoping to get lodged in cells because they had no place else to go. So through those connections, we were able to relocate that person where they're able to get some help. Staffing levels currently, when I wrote this, we're at strength. We have 14 members. We have 14 people. We have 3 municipal members slated to transfer out this year. 2 are going to go on paternity leave for this summer. And just to remind, we don't get refilled if they're on paternity leave. So that's a vacancy that we have to carry. So that's 5 gone this summer. I have 2 members identified coming in, 1 cadet and 1 trained. So that's kind of that's one of the reasons why we're not going to be continuing the project team at this time. We don't have the staffing to fill that. And also, I'm also slated to be going out, to be transferred out, and my position has been advertised for staffing, and that competition is underway for the next few weeks. So, any questions in regards to the further report? Yes, Councilor.
Thank you for that. I see when you wrote the report, you said it was October 1st of 2018, and you were 3 members short at the time. Can you comment, would that impact for those people who maybe don't understand the amount of time that the RCMP spend on paperwork or in court? Do you have any statistics that would, if you're 3 members short, can you let us know a rough idea of how much time is spent off the road in regards to paperwork and court time?
I can't give you any numbers on what you would, but for those proactive activities, the first thing that falls off is traffic enforcement. certainly something we keep on going, but the fewer members we have, we're really doing the active case in the project, so that has to go. Policing has changed a fair bit from 20 years ago, where report writing and time of court is consistent, but report writing, our quality of information reported is way up from when I first joined, but the time it takes to do that is a lot. So that doesn't change, we have fewer people doing that data entry, not a lot of data entry and follow-up, so it takes less time on the street, yes. But as far as numbers, I don't have it.
Would you have any idea, just a rough estimate of how many hours a search warrant would take to actually write up, have it sworn, that sort of thing?
Well, that depends on the quality of information in the search warrant. We just did one fairly recently regarding sex abuse, and we took it into court. It took a couple of days of one of writing it to get it presented to the court. It was denied, and it took another few days of investigation, and then rewriting to get it presented. So that it all depends on the warrant and the quality of information and how complex the investigation is. It can take a week. It can be done in 1 day. Does that answer your question?
So it takes a substantial amount of time, then it takes members away from their regular duties that could impact statistics.
Well, it does definitely, and the amount of experience one has in the report and the search warrant writing affects how efficient they are in getting them done. And we have a fairly high turnover of members here, and we have fairly junior detachment. And so members would have the training to know how to do this limited. You don't have 14 search warrant writers, they're much less. And so with that, we get people trained up, get their experience, and then we also send them for training. So it's kind of, it all takes very much time. The training is a drain on our available resource. The training is not here.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. And thank you, Staff Sergeant, for all the proactive things that you're involved with, that you mentioned in your report with the restorative justice and the various committees around town. You talked about police changing with the large number of paperwork that you're now doing, but it's also a lot of proactive stuff too, so I think that really has lots of benefits. And we wish you well. Keep us posted on your transfer.
I'm not gone yet.
I know, yes.
It all depends on how long my house takes to sell food. So.
And so that's an interesting process. So people apply for your job, and then they're interviewed by the RCMP, and then there's an announcement that's being made.
Well, the process started a while ago. First, they tried to find if there's any other staff sergeants that are currently interested in lateral move to Dauphin. But we're not, apparently, because now it's going through the promotion process. So now there's 3 weeks to get your interest candidate, get their application together, get them in. It takes a while to go through those packages and have a promotion board just to hear them and decide who goes, and then goes towards the line officer who can review those and decide who will be selected. It all depends on where they're coming from, how long that can take. So in the interim, it'll be if Candace Sergeant McMacken will be acting in my stead.
Yes. Yeah, she's been in our community for over a year, so.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Great. Well, thank you for your work. Thank you for your report and for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Councillor Reel, I'll put your name down for the next one. So moved by Councillor Reel, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be resolved that all items listed under item 5, consent agenda, be approved as follows and form part of these minutes. And I'll be reading these out. Okay, so consent agenda action items, outstanding water bills added to taxes. Be it resolved that the following water accounts be added to taxes. There are 4 of them. First one is $88.05. The address is 21 Ida Street. For all of these, the previous tenant failed to pay the final utility bill. $33.39 for the property at 326 3rd Avenue Northeast. Next one is for $26.55 for the property address of 102 7th Avenue Southeast, and $54.63 for the property address of 129 2nd Avenue Southwest. And the total is $502.62 that have been added to taxes, as recommended by the Director of Finance and the Utility Clerk. Also, outstanding accounts receivable that are being added to taxes. Be it resolved that the following accounts receivable be added to taxes. The roll number is 0019000.000. The amount is $50. The property address is 34 10th Avenue Southeast, and there was a permit that was issued on September 14th of last year for the demolition of a fire-damaged garage and gazebo, and that permit was not paid, so that will be added to taxes, as recommended by the Director of Finance and the Tax Clerk. There are several filing items. The Association of Manitoba Municipalities, AMM, they gave us our Parkland District update, and also a member advisory dated January 28th. And also from the national organization, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, FCM. They sent out a communique on February 4th. We get all of these via email, but it also comes to City Hall. Mountain View School Division, their news digest on January 28th of 2019. And the Deputy Minister of Families, Housing and Homelessness sent a letter. We had a meeting with Jay on at the end of November when we were in Winnipeg for AMM, and we are being thanked for that meeting. And Intermountain Conservation District, community tree program. There are economical trees available for the area, so that information was given there. Tree Canada program about the possibility of funding for trees for schools, and that's been circulated to all the schools in the area. Celebrate Canada funding, and Canadian Red Cross statistics, and as recommended by the Deputy Mayor and Deputy City Manager. Are there any questions about the consent agenda items? Councillor Beal.
Can you just clarify in regards to the water bills? Are those all going back to the landlord? And if they are on tenants to the landlord, what is the policy in regards to putting it onto taxes for a landlord?
This question I don't think I can answer with the great certainty that I'd be willing to provide tonight. I'd have to talk to Scott Farr, the Director of Finance, the actual process. I'm not involved at all with any of the utilities, so I can have that answer for you at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. All those in favor? Okay, carried. Councillor Eilers, you're okay with that consent agenda?
Yes,
Okay,
I just wanted to add to the question that was asked
yes.
about the collection of the water. The city does not collect that. It's the responsibility of the landlord to collect and make sure that the bills are paid. Because they rent the place to that individual or family.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, moved by Councillor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following corporate report for the February 11th regular Council meeting from our Deputy City Manager, Renee Silvidor.
Good evening and welcome to my second report to Council. Most of my time has been spent on follow-up from the last Council meeting and preparing and following up from the Planning and Priorities Committee meeting of Council on February 3rd. February seems to have slowed down from an administration standpoint. There were some heavy Council agendas following the inaugural meeting in November, the report of our vision meeting in December, and the Christmas break. It has provided some relief and time for catch-up with this meeting's shorter agenda. Other noteworthy tasks during this period include meeting with public health. So the bylaw enforcement officer, building inspector, and myself met with 2 public health officers to review derelict properties identified by the Property Standards Task Force Committee. The objective of the meeting was to determine how our 2 offices can work in conjunction, to gain better understanding of the processes of the public health office and how we will continue our working relationship going forward. Municipal emergency workshop. On January 30th, I attended a full-day municipal emergency workshop presented by Manitoba EMO at the Fire Hall. It was a well-attended course despite the -52 wind chill that day. Attendees included representatives from rural municipalities across the parkland. We covered topics of mutual aid agreements, risk assessment, and situational awareness. The City of Dauphin is very fortunate to have the guidance of an emergency coordinator to help develop an emergency plan should one be necessary. The Deputy Mayor, Emergency Coordinator, and myself had the opportunity to meet with representatives from the Red Cross. The Red Cross responds to personal disasters and provides resources for the first 72 hours following a sudden event. The nonprofit organization relies heavily on donations and volunteers. Some of the services a disaster assistance team provides is emergency lodging, clothing, food, and supplies. Assistance is also provided via connection to resources. Therefore, if anyone you know is facing a disaster, please do not hesitate to make a phone call to the Red Cross. Bylaw enforcement. So as Deputy City Manager, I spend a fair amount of time working collaboratively with the Bylaw Officer, Angela Genick, in tackling both larger scale projects and daily issues that arise. In her next report to Council, I expect there to be a significant increase in parking tickets issued for February due to the recent parking ban for snow clearing. Most citizens did an excellent job in ensuring their vehicles were off the roadways during the parking ban, especially being the first parking ban this winter. After a significant snowfall, it is best to err on the side of caution and check with the city to see if there is a ban in effect by checking our website, listening or checking 730 CKDM, or even phoning City Hall. Thank you to the Public Works Department for the quick work of keeping our streets safe and clean. I am currently in my municipal administration course through the CMMA program. The content is very practical and applicable to my daily tasks. However, I feel the most important aspect of the course is the connections I'm making with other municipal employees. Each unit, we discuss the topic from the perspective of our respective municipality and positions. So far, this has provided a greater understanding of the operations of various municipalities across Manitoba. Lastly, as a fairly new employee, I am continuously learning something new each day. In this environment, I do not feel there will ever be a shortage of knowledge to gain. In the last 2 weeks, I have spent a significant amount of time reviewing the city's policies and procedures, as well as having conversations with experienced staff. And I'll be having another one with Scott about the water bill process. It is extremely helpful to have a wealth of knowledge amongst my coworkers to help soften the learning curve. I thank all the City of Dauphin staff for their assistance in the absence of the city manager as we continue our operational efficiency. And that concludes my report for this period.
Any questions of the Deputy City Manager's report? Councillor Staccato.
Thank you. Just a question or just a follow-up with your the meeting with the Public Health Office. I know at the last property standards meeting, that was one of the topics that we talked about. And without going into great detail, I'm just curious, was basically, are they receptive to being able to work with us, or is there sort of a concrete plan going forward? Any details on that?
We do have a short list of properties that we're going to work in conjunction with public health. They were very receptive to us working together and using each other's services rather than replicating services. One huge thing we did learn that we did not know, because their primary interest is in habitable houses. So a lot of our properties on our derelict property standards list are actually vacant. So we can't use their services as much as we had hoped. However, they are always open to having a conversation if we have a concern that tenants may be moving in, or perhaps someone is living there in fact. So we are going to keep those doors open.
Great, thanks. That's great information.
Anything further? And just further to your comment about the parking ban, people can also sign up to get on the email list through City Hall and get emails and know about the parking ban that way. So whatever works for you to remember to get your car off the street so you don't have that little ridge of snow around there the next morning when you're trying to get to work. So, okay. All in favor of accepting the Deputy City Manager's report? Councillor Eilers, you're good? Okay, carried. I move by Councillor Reel, seconded by Councillor Staccato, be it resolved that the finance accounts, having been examined by council, be hereby authorized and approved as follows. Check totals. The check numbers are from $24,282 to $24,357. Total of 76 checks for $219,049.75. Checks voided in the current range, there were none, and voided checks in past ranges, there were none. There were 5 electronic payments during January, totaling $156,110.48. Are there any questions about the finance accounts? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Loughlin. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following engineering department staff reports for February 11th. Regular council meeting, there are 2 of them, the Director of Public Works and Operations, Mr. Brenner, and the Construction and Maintenance Foreman. Mr. Brenner, did you want to speak to your report?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. So this is my first report for the year, and so Happy New Year to everybody. I'm a little late, but it's been very cold and busy January for our crews. Quite a few water main breaks, significant snowfall last weekend has kept everybody busy, but so far everything's been going quite well given the extreme cold. My first week back in the new year, I spent the week in Winnipeg for an asset management course, or the first course of an asset management training that myself and Engineering Services Supervisor Daryl Aiken and Engineering Clerk Dean Wochuk are taking. The course will be ongoing until April of 2020. We have 5 more courses to complete, and each of those courses have 10 lessons in each, which is a week long. So it's a significant amount of training. So far, it's been extremely good, and we've really learned quite a bit in a very short amount of time. So I'm very grateful and thankful that we've been able to take it. The course is being subsidized by the Federation of Canadian Municipalities through the Plant Engineering and Maintenance Association of Canada. So very informative. We spent that first week in Winnipeg with staff from Winnipeg, Melville, DePaul, and Dryden. Had a fantastic instructor for the course. She really knew her stuff, and it's really great to have that hands-on. So so far, it's been fantastic. On the 22nd, I facilitated tours of some of our larger facilities for council and staff. I think it's great to have council come out and see all these facilities and know what we're talking about, and see the staff that work in these facilities so that they know what's going on. On January 23rd, Community Energy Manager Steve Sobering, DRS Manager Ryan Vanderhayden, and myself attended the final Climate Smart session in Winnipeg. Steve and Ryan have done a tremendous job collecting and inputting greenhouse gas emission data for the city into the Climate Smart tool. This tool provides us a look at our greenhouse gas emissions, and as we go forward, it will allow us to see how we are able to reduce those greenhouse gas emissions. We will be working on a plan part to finalize our training and to become Climate Smart certified. We have to come up with a plan for reducing greenhouse gas emissions. That plan will be done in the next few weeks and brought to council for their approval and review. So we look forward to that, and we look forward to being the first city in Manitoba to be Climate Smart certified. A project that's been a long time coming is a new phone systems for City Hall, Fire Hall, and Public Works Shop. This process started about 2 years ago. We were going to get it done, and so it's taken a significant amount of time. I think it went quite smoothly. There was a few glitches, obviously, with a huge IT or a change in technology like that, but they were very small, I think, given the overall scope of the project. And I think there's a couple of minor glitches to work out yet, but all in all, I think everybody's enjoying having new phones that actually work. So, in recent years, fat, oil, and grease have been causing significant problems in our sanitary system. This is not a new issue, but it seems to be becoming more prevalent. One of the largest sources for these fat oils and greases is food service establishments and commercial kitchens that aren't maintaining their grease interceptors properly. This has been recognized a very long time ago by the city and has been part of our water and sewer bylaw for many years. The bylaw contains a section on the requirements for installation and maintenance of grease interceptors to mitigate these problems. The bylaw also requires that establishment keep records of inspection and maintenance for grease interceptors and provide them on a request to the city. Last week, we sent out letters to these establishments reminding them of these requirements of the bylaw and advising them that our building inspector will be out performing inspections of their interceptors and records. I just wanted to bring this to council's attention in case you were getting calls from the community or what was going on. In the past, we've kind of overlooked this thing because it hasn't been a huge issue, but every year it seems to become more and more prevalent. We have to spend a lot more time with our sewer jet equipment, cleaning sanitary mains and removing these things. So we need to start looking at the source and cutting down that to reduce our maintenance costs. Another project that's been in a little while in the making is HVAC controls for the CN station. The control systems for the second and third floor and the basement were installed in 2002. The technology was old, it was hard to use, and we didn't have anybody locally that could actually maintain it. So we've replaced the control systems with brand new state-of-the-art equipment. We can now see exactly from our offices or from anywhere in the world that we have an internet connection, see what's going on, see what the temperatures are. As you know, part of the lease requirements for those floors requires to maintain certain temperatures throughout the year. So this will help us make sure that that's happening. So, with the snowfall last weekend, I fielded a few calls about the airport, which kept me busy and some staff busy trying to clear the runways. I also spent a couple of days at the water treatment plant updating the SCADA software and installing a cell phone booster. So one of the things we did was remove the foreman's phone line from the water treatment plant as a cost-saving measure and install a cell phone booster so that he can just use his cell phone. And that's the only phone that he'll actually have now, is just a cell phone. We did that with a few other staff as well that spend very little time in their actual offices because it makes sense for them to have a landline. They still have a number, but it'll go directly to their cell phone. So. And also during the month, I attended several meetings with developers and development agreements and council meetings, as well as a management meeting just prior to the city manager's planned absence. And that's my report. If anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Okay, any questions of the Bill's report or of the construction and maintenance foreman report? Councillor Reel?
Thank you for that. For those of us who aren't familiar with how we measure greenhouse gas, is there a formula what kind of formula? Is it provincial, is it national, and where do we currently sit?
Well, I don't have the final report in front of me, but the way this tool works is, and it's fantastic. So in essence, it does all the calculations for us. So it's based on a worldwide standard. I don't know the exact way it's done, but we can input how many cubic meters of natural gas we use for heating, and it will convert that to the equivalent greenhouse gases. We input the amount of fuel that we spent on all our different types of equipment. That is converted in the software. So that's why we partnered with these companies, and that's what their software does. It provides you an easy way of inputting those variables, what your impact is, or what you measure it by, so electricity as well. Electricity in Manitoba doesn't have a huge greenhouse gas proponent, so it doesn't, even though we use a lot of electricity, because it's all hydroelectricity, the actual greenhouse gases are very minimal. So it does all those calculations for us. The report will come to council as soon as we're done, and after we've discussed the reduction plans that we have and finalize it, we will bring that report to council, and then we can make it available to everybody we hope to have it right on our actual website. It's basically a chart that shows where the various aspects of our operations are and what kind of greenhouse gas we use.
Anything further? Okay, Councillor Juba.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Bellin. Bill, I just wanted to ask further, asset management is becoming a big issue and an issue of concern and a way of doing business. And you've taken some courses. How soon will you be able to prepare a report for council so that we as council can learn more about the asset management process?
So very shortly, I will be coming to council looking at both strategic plan and policy for the city of Dauphin. So that's our first step in the whole asset management system or the process. I had a discussion at our management meeting about policy. We have several examples of policies from other cities that we're looking at right now. So that will be the first step, and that will come to council relatively shortly. Once we have that policy and that strategic plan, or that where we're actually looking to go with our asset management plan, then we can actually start on some planning. As you're aware, we've been doing different aspects of it. So we've been doing condition assessment of various facilities and our roads, that kind of stuff. We've been collecting data on trees. So we're doing different parts, but council's first involvement, and probably the most important part, is setting that strategy and setting the policy that will guide our asset management going forward, so that hopefully it will be coming within the next month or so.
Thank you.
Anything further? I just wanted to make a comment about the construction and maintenance foreman report, where they were digging for the water main breaks, and we think of that as being fairly straightforward, but he was mentioning how, one, he had to watch for a gas line when he was digging, and another one, the listening equipment wasn't picking up because there was construction of the house was interfering, and then the third one, there was all this stuff underground and it was making it difficult. So I'm just trying to imagine having this big machine and all this stuff underground, and you're trying to, and it's cold, and you're trying to fix this, so there's a lot of skill involved. So it's I know Bill thinks he appreciates my interest in the water system, and I should mention that when I was speaking to the grade 2s, they said, "What's your favorite part of your job?" And so I explained to them about the pipes under the road carrying water to their house, and then all their laundry water and everything was taken out. So yes, very interesting. Okay, so all those in favor of accepting these two reports?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Carried. And moved by Councillor Reel, seconded by Councillor Juba, be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following protective services report for February 11th regular council meeting, the bylaw enforcement report, January 2019, that was part of your package. Any questions about that report? Councillor Juba.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Bellemare. Just one question. Will our Mr. Tarrant, will he be supplying a report to council soon as to his part of the bylaw enforcement?
Todd Tarrant, our animal control officer, does not have any requirement to do a written report to council. However, he does have two delegations, one in the springtime and one in the fall. I can't recall his date offhand when he's coming in the spring, but in the coming months he is going to come to a delegation to council.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor? Councillor Others, you're good?
Yeah.
Okay, carried. Moved by Councillor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Reel. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the minutes of the following committee meeting, the Dauphin Rec Services Board minutes from the January 30th, 2019 meeting. Any questions? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor? Okay. Those are carried. And moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Reel. Be resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated January 25th, 2019 from Jeremy Smith, Executive Director of the Dauphin Friendship Centre, regarding interest in bringing the Rent Smart Facilitator Training Program to the Parkland area to provide Rent Smart housing education to local organizations. Further be it resolved that Council forwards this training opportunity to the Crisis Prevention Task Force for their consideration. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Yes.
Okay. Carried. Moved by Councillor Reel, seconded by Councillor Loughlin. Be it resolved that the Council accepts as information invitations to the events listed below. There were no invitations, but two community events coming up. One is Habitat for Humanity, the Kings and Queens Gala on February 22nd. And thinking Councillor Juba is going to talk to that in his privileges. And also Pitch-In Week, which is April 22nd to 29, 2019. Now that is a new event. So that's basically a community cleanup kind of event that's happening. So it's being promoted by Tim Hortons. Okay, so hopefully, well, there'll be some promo on that, and hopefully people will pitch in during the week of April 22nd to 29th and help make our community even more clean and beautiful than it currently is. Okay, moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Laughlin, that we now move to councillor privileges, and we'll start with Councillor Laughlin.
All right, thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Just a few to run down here. On January 28th, I attended the regular council meeting. On February 4th, attended planning and priorities meeting. This past weekend did most of my attending, I guess you could say. On February 9th, I was a part of the Treaty 2 hockey game at Credit Union Place. First time we've done something like this from a Dauphin Kings perspective, and really from a city's perspective. Great crowd, great atmosphere in the building. Really looking forward to kind of making this a tradition moving forward. The organizers were great. Just want to thank Bo and the rest of his group. They were great to work with, great to put this all together. And yeah, we're already talking about it for next year. We're looking at right around December 21st, but we'll have to figure that out in our scheduling in June for the next hockey season. But again, the Treaty 2 hockey game was excellent, and we thank everyone that attended that game again for coming out. And yesterday, February 10th, I attended the Journey Tour concert at Credit Union Place. Congratulations to Country Fest, heck of a job. It was a heck of a concert. It was really, this past weekend, it was great to see that building being utilized to its full potential. It was turned from a hockey rink to a concert stage in less than 24 hours, so obviously Dauphin Rec Services, great job there. And again, Country Fest, well done, another well-run event. And like I said, great to see that building utilized to its full potential. And that's my report.
Great, thank you. For myself, January 14th, regular council meeting. I was absent at last council meeting as well as the planning priorities meeting. But on Saturday, February 9th, just this past Saturday, I was able to attend my first circa Valentine's ball with one of my own children performing. So it was very special to me. My boys were never too interested in joining, but my daughter, on the other hand, she's a different story. It was a really fun night with performances from the intro group right up to their senior dancers. It was a night geared for the younger dancers to show off what they've been working on over the past several months. And then it was time for their Zabava. They had a lot of fun, obviously, but now this is another group. Zerk is another group that my family is now part of, and it floors me the amount of volunteers in Dauphin and people working for a common goal of an organization. It's just astounding. So it's great to see that, and it's just wonderful that we have these volunteers in Dauphin and the surrounding area. Also, just to make mention about the Paul Brandt concert last night, I spoke with Ann Ransom, president of Country Fest today, and she was very happy with the way the event came together yesterday. The Country Fest board and staff are pros when it comes to hosting huge artists and performances, especially up at Cello. But this time, with it being held at Credit Union Place, they had to rely on the staff and volunteers there. And she had nothing but overwhelming praise for the staff at DRS for their extra effort to make sure that this event was a success. So hats off to everyone involved with that endeavor. Just a couple of reminders. In speaking about DRS, I noticed that the new pool schedule was out today, and it made me think that for those that are unable to get away during this cold weather snap, it might be a great option. I know I like to utilize the pool in the winter as sort of a way to break up the long, cold winter weeks. So take a look at the schedule and see if there's a class or some free swim time that fits into your schedule. Just a note, with all the amazing events that DRS hosts, they are great at posting the information that pertaining to those events through their social media accounts, as well as they advertise in the paper. However, people can always stop by the desk by the pool there to see a list of the activities and events that are going on at DRS. Just for one more event, for those who like to engage in outdoor winter activities, just a reminder that on February 18th, the Manitoba Snowshoe run walk event is taking place. It's a 5K or 10K event, and it starts at 10 o'clock up at Sellout. Cost is $25, and if you don't have snowshoes, there are, I would suspect, a limited amount to be rented, and I believe they're about $5 a pair. People can register at racermnp.ca or just Google Manitoba Snowshoe Race. And finally, not enough can be said about the gratitude we all have for the women and men that are working out in the frigid and dangerous temperatures in order to keep our community safe and usable. Whether it's protection services from the fire department or the police force, or maintenance services from city staff, or just other companies. It's extreme out there right now, and we're all grateful that you do what you do. So thank you to all those individuals. That ends my report.
Thank you, Councillor Staccato. Councillor Eilers, you're next.
Okay, on January 28th, of course, the regular council meeting. February 4th, planning and priority meeting. And on February the 5th, I attended the IMCD meeting. And I just had a few points to report. I've got a full report that I handed in. But the name will remain Inter Mountain, and Inter will be with a hyphen, Mountain, Watershed District versus Conservation District. There's a large area that's combined with, of course, the Turtle Watershed District. There will remain to be two offices, Ethelbert and Alonzo, and there'll be one main board with two sub-district boards. I have submitted a more complete report to Renee, St. Bedard, and it will be for discussion, I believe, in one of the following meetings. I'm not sure if there will be the one on the 4th or the following. But we do have, I did submit a large map showing the new boundaries. Of course, they've expanded, and there's a few more districts added to our watershed district. And there'll be a notification for a resolution for continuing to belong to the watershed area. So that will be coming up, and I'll do a further information. It helps if I have a map in front of me to show you the outline. And on February the 6th, I attended an ACC advisory meeting with various, and there was various programs that are in process of being delivered. The Nurses Aid program is now being made permanent in Dauphin, which is really good. There's a lot of additional programs, and I didn't write them all, and training being made available. My suggestion is to go to the ACC website and see if there's anything of interest for someone looking for some ideas for a career start. And failing that, they will also have open house, or you can drop by the ACC college and they can give you a lot of information, and there's counselors that can help you with applications, as well as to look at points of interest that you might consider. I'd like to thank the Public Works Department for the quick work of cleaning the streets, and also the staff for all the publicized parking bans. So I think there was a lot less vehicles that were out in areas that the staff was trying to clean. It just makes it very easy for the people who are cleaning the streets to do a good job. And also it saves you a lot of grief, because there's nothing like finding 2 feet of snow in front of you and behind you and having to shovel your way out. And I'd really like to thank the fire department for their work, especially the recent fire that we had in a major building. It's been so cold, and you got to give them credit for all the hours they put in to contain this fire at the Broad building and making sure that other buildings weren't affected. So a big kudos to the fire department for all their time and effort, and also all the other fire departments from nearby communities that came out to help. It was a long, drawn-out affair. And then and I will be continue to be on holidays next week. And thanks to keeping our city safe. And I was not able to hear all of the RCMP reports, but I want to thank all of these for keeping our community safe. And that ends my report.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Iris. And sitting next to me, we have our youth representative at council, and he is giving his very first report, so I'm going to pass this over to you.
I attended the regular council meeting on January 14th. I was absent at the last council meeting on January 28th due to exams. This year's high school musical is Freaky Friday, where as a cast member, I attended musical practices on January 17th, 20th, 22nd, 27th, 29th, and February 3rd, 7th, and 10th. I encourage everyone to attend the musical at Theater CSS April 24th to 27th. It's going to be awesome. I was invited by the MVSD Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Ward, to attend the stakeholders meeting on February 19th, where we will be discussing school boards and school funding. I will also be attending the MVSD Student Voice meeting on February 21st. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Ashton. You're as busy as the councillors here. Lots of stuff going on. It's great to see. Councillor Juba.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Bellmer. Good job on your report, Ashton, by the way. January 28th, I attended the regular council meeting here at City Hall. February 4th, I attended the Planning and Priorities meeting via teleconference, and the new teleconference system works really well. I was in Winnipeg to attend the CSAM, the safety conference at the RBC Convention Center. There were two days of leadership session courses that I attended. They're all related to safety issues, such as the changing work culture around safety issues, substance abuse in the workplace, mental health issues in the workplace, return to work, claims management, and a whole plethora of other interesting topics of discussion, both from the employer and the employee standpoint. And there were approximately 3,000 people at this conference. Just want to note, attending from Dauphin, the management co-chair Dave Durkach attended, and Curtis Flett, Chad McCready were the city employees, and myself as the city rep on the committee. We all found all the course materials very interesting and worthwhile attending this conference. On the 7th, back to Dauphin here, attended Habitat for Humanity meeting to finalize the details for our fundraising gala, which will be held on February the 22nd. And all the details are now confirmed. The name of the gala is the Kings and Queens Gala. The Dauphin Kings will be participating in the event, also with the Dauphin Jazz Band, and and Irving's Catering will be catering the event. So to get your tickets, you can just go down to Dauphin Musical Supplies or contact info@dauphin.habitat.manitoba.ca. But it's easier just to go to Dauphin Musical Supplies and get your tickets there. They're $25, and Anna Orisco is doing a great job. She's the head organizer for this particular event, and she's doing a great job. So it should be a fun time. Saturday, February the 9th, excuse me, there was a couple of events I attended after I forgot to attend a course I was supposed to be at, but that's another story. I went to the Winter Global Market at the Dauphin Friendship Center. I checked out the home-based crafted an artisan show that was held at the Dauphin Friendship Center, and there was quite a few tables there. There was a lot of people that went through there to check out the wares that were on display. And later on in the afternoon, I attended the Handy Vans Valentine's Tea at the Dauphin Senior Center. This event, there was standing room only for this event, and it was good to see so many people come out on a cold afternoon. And as aforementioned, I also attended the Paul Brandt did show last night. Actually, it was a volunteer for Dauphin's Country Fest to help them out with ushering and what have you. But I just want to again mention to Country Fest what a class event they put on. Also, other comments about the 2 hockey games and everything else that went on this weekend. It was just phenomenal to see the rec center being used to its full potential, and we felt very secure with all the security that was there. So it was good. It was a good weekend, and I just want to say shout out to the Country Fest board for donating 2 tickets to our Habitat group, which we passed on to our Habitat family, and they had an opportunity to attend the show. So thank you to Dauphin Country Fest for that. I just want to congratulate Jack Bay on his retirement from the Dauphin Fire Department. January 31st was his last day. He's also a member of the Workplace Safety and Health Committee, and he was also a safety officer for the Dauphin Fire Department. And he is going to be missed at the fire department. And that's my segue to thank the Dauphin Fire Department, along with the support from the Gilbert Plains and all the other local fire departments who stepped in to help contain the Bond Block fire. It was kind of disturbing. That fire really, not only the building was destroyed, but it displaced the residents of that. There were 4 residents apparently that lived there, but also the AA group met there, and a group that's near and dear to my heart, the Hero Club. They lost their meeting place and all of their possessions in this fire, and I'm sure in coming weeks they'll be trying to raise some funds to get some of their to replace some of their possessions. And it was really a shout out to all the support that the fire department received from. There was a lot of people going down there bringing them coffee, and there's people bringing them fuel to keep the fire trucks running, and it was really wonderful to see everybody working together and making sure that that disaster was mitigated to just the Bond Block and not 2 or 3 other houses along the way. And to conclude my report, I want to thank Deputy Mayor Bellmare and Deputy City Manager Renee for their leadership roles, while Ella and Charlotte are away. So that's my report.
Thank you, Councillor Juba. Councillor Reel.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Bellmer. On January 28th, I attended the regular City Council meeting at City Hall. February 4th, I attended the Planning and Priorities here as well. February 7th, I attended the SHE meeting in Winnipeg at RBC Convention Center. There were 1,700 women in a room, and that was a lot of estrogen there. It was an exceptional opportunity to bring women from all over Manitoba together to network and discuss issues concerning facing women today at a provincial and national level. And what I found very interesting about it is that our Economic Development Department, as well as our Community Futures Parkland, are very well on their way, aligned locally with provincial and national priorities. So kudos to them for that, and great job there for bringing women together. February 2nd, I attended the Dauphin and 9th, the Dauphin rec hockey tournaments. Very great to see all the volunteers and the camaraderie amongst kids from ages 7 to 16 play in that league. And thank you to CKDM for announcing the game. Excellent job, and appreciate that. February 9th, I attended the Treaty 2 hockey game at Credit Union Place. Unfortunately, the score wasn't too close, but it was an excellent opportunity for networking. And good job to Deputy Mayor Bellmare for going out there and receiving the flag on behalf of the city. So thank you for that. And February 10th, I attended the concert at Credit Union Place as well. And again, unbelievable after being at the hockey game the night before and seeing them start at 11 o'clock to work through the night and back at 7 a.m. The rec services department is just incredible. I can't say enough positive there. So thank you to that. And again, I just want to echo the other sentiments for the fire department and those people in the community who stepped up and did an excellent job in regards to the fire. And I've seen a lot on social media about donations for the residents as well as the groups who lost everything. So excellent to see a community come together. And thank you. I think we sometimes forget our teachers and where our kids go during the day when it's minus 50 for 6 weeks on end. So thank you to all the teachers and EAs who have survived the cold weather so far. Indoor recess for weeks on end is not easy. And thank you to them for their patience and all they do for our children. And that ends my report.
Thank you. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but could you, for people maybe that are watching that aren't on social media, could you just mention a couple of the places where they could give money for people? Because you said on social media that they were collecting for people who had been affected by the fire. Like, are there drop-off things, places, or? Okay.
Oh, I can't speak for the residents or the AA group, but if anyone is interested in helping out the Hero Club, they do have to get a hold of the people at the community health building here. They, I can't remember the name of the exact case manager, but I'm sure if they went in there and asked for the case manager for the Hero Club, then that's the proper channel, is to go through the case managers, and they will certainly assist in the process.
Okay, so accepting financial donations.
You know what, financial donations or donations of some of the stuff they may need. But I'm sure once the Hero Club realizes what they need and what they require, I'm sure through their proper spokespeople, they will put that out in the public. But if anybody's interested, in the meantime, they can just go down to the community building and speak to the case manager that's responsible for the Hero Club and offer their services or whatever they need.
Okay, thank you. And just further on some, January 31st, Renee mentioned about the Red Cross meeting, and just a couple other points. They're looking for people who want to volunteer to be part of the local Red Cross team. So if that's you, give Red Cross a call and you can talk about the possibilities. And as well, they accept money. If you have extra money and you want to donate it, they will accept it, and they use it to assist people in our province. So for example, like the fire at the Boyd building, I mean, those people could have called, I don't know if they did, but I mean, Red Cross is available and they have various levels of assistance that they can provide to people. On February the 4th, I chaired the P&P meeting. February 5th, I attended the WAC Building Committee meeting. They've just recently completed a feasibility study, or rather the architect that they hired has done that. And the committee is now looking at how are they going to move this study into from the study stage to the reality stage. February 7th, I mentioned that I had read at the Henderson School because it's I Love to Read Month. So just a reminder to anyone who's watching this, find a child and make sure that you read to them. You read lots of books at school, right? Yeah, good month. And February 9th, I attended the Regional Library Board meeting. And at that meeting, there's a counselor from each of the communities that are served by this regional structure. And they have a business meeting where they talk about like the per capita levy. And one of the other things they did is they struck a search committee because they're going to need a new director. As mentioned, J.L. Gios, the current Marvelous director, is retiring, and so they need to find a replacement. February 9th, I attended the Treaty 2 reconciliation event at the Kings hockey game, and I received a Treaty 2 flag and a plaque on behalf of the city from Grand Chief Eastman of Treaty 2, and this was a new, well-planned and meaningful event, and hopefully it will continue, as Councillor Laughlin was mentioning. In community events, February 5th and 6th, I attended a mental health first aid kit, and I encourage anyone who has the opportunity to learn more about mental health, the symptoms and how to respond to it, to take advantage of that. It's certainly very helpful, very interesting, and well worth your time. Coming up this weekend, if you like vinyl records, check out the WAC. They have an event on the 16th. There's live music and there are vinyl records for sale. And Councillor Stakilo already mentioned the snowshoe race that's happening, the snowshoe run. And afterwards, Fort Dauphin Museum usually has events happening, so lots of things to check out. And I had written comments here thanking the fire department, and it's already been mentioned. Just one other person I wanted to mention in addition to the fire department and the city and the RCMP, and that was the person who called in the alarm. So that worked out really well, that they were able to note that this was happening and call in, because things like that could have really made a difference in how things turned out. So that concludes my report, and I'd like to wish everyone a good evening. Thank you.